Good morning, fellow Cameroonians at home and abroad. This is Chairman Capo Daniel. Today, we want to present this presentation about Cameroon warning from the Somaliland, a big red flag and a big warning to the government of Cameroon about Somaliland. Somaliland has just been recognized by Israel as an independent and sovereign country. Somaliland now have a big advocate for her independence and international recognition from Benjamin Netanyahu, something no speculator, no analyst in Africa could ever see it coming. That Somaliland, that for years, since they had their autonomy, they defeated the army of Somalia, they could control their land and everything. Somalia had put a warning in the African Union that any recognition to Somaliland would lead to Somalia withdrawing from the African Union, similar to what Morocco did. So nobody could see this coming. But today, Somaliland has been recognized as an independent and sovereign country, with Israel campaigning now internationally for Somaliland independence and recognition. They have a wonderful and irreversible path towards independence. This is a message to Cameroon, the whole of Cameroon, Anglophone and Francophone, who think that the Southern Cameroon independence is not conceivable. There is no way you can see it happening. But we must learn from the precedent that has been set. So, ladies and gentlemen, all policymakers in Cameroon and all politicians, what is unfolding in Somaliland by Israel is not just an international news. It is a warning bell and a precedent and a lesson for the Cameroon government to see and recognize. For years, the war have watched Somalia try to assert total control over Somaliland rather than engaging in any genuine dialogue and negotiation or offering of any genuine autonomy. All the offer made by the Somalia government to Somaliland have always been a whitewash and just buying time for them to get their act and come back and take that land by force. They believe that regional politics and African Union alone could keep Somaliland from any external recognition. But now we all see a foreign nation from nowhere, Israel, has stepped in and acknowledged Somaliland as a sovereign and independent state, and they are in the course of building bilateral relationship. This step makes Somaliland's path for independence irreversible. Their currency will now be stabilized, their government will now be stabilized, their army will be built. So they will improve in terms of infrastructures in the country and they will become an envy. Somalia will forever never be able to assert control over Somaliland. Cameroon stand at a similar crossroad by insisting that the path of military dominance and suppression of Anglophones' right of self-determination and autonomy, by refusing negotiated settlement in good faith and to grant any meaningful autonomy to the Anglophone region. The Paul Biya regime risks a similar scenario. One day, an external power can step in and change the whole dynamic for the people of the Anglophone regions in Cameroon. Once that door is open, it will be nearly impossible to close it and to reverse course. Even you look at the people in Bongasville, it was a similar situation. So let this be a call for action. Let it be a wake-up call for genuine negotiation and genuine dialogue. Do not wait until a foreign nation will step in and makes decision for you. Do not wait until a situation becomes irreversible in the English-speaking region. Today, you look at these boys fighting, struggling, unorganized, without any recognition, and you think that is it. Bongasville was similar case. They thought that was it. When brothers fight, it is a foreigner who claim their spoil. Remember that Somaliland is a Muslim and Islamic country. Now, I want to take you to videos of the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu granting interviews in America and doing campaign for Somaliland so that we can all understand what is going on. Prime Minister of Israel also pledged to support persecuted Christians across Africa. That may mean that this may not be an end in Somaliland, but let us So this Somaliland celebrating Israel. Look at, I want you to know that Somaliland is a Muslim country. You know the conflict in Israel of Gaza and the Palestinian and Israel problem, and how the whole Muslim world backs the cause of the Palestinian nation. But this is a Muslim people now embracing the flag of Israel to tell you that national interests have no friend. National interests have no friend. And Palestinians, poor Palestinians who have been fighting for independence for ages, they have been pushed by many Islamic countries in that Muslim Brotherhood to keep on fighting no matter what, to use terrorism no matter what. But eventually, you see countries like Egypt have blocked their border from Palestinian refugees. Now you find Somaliland are embracing Israel and switching side. You now have the Abraham Accord, which is being pushed by the American government, that many Muslim countries have signed it at the expense of support for Palestine. So we can't just be thinking that people are going to be supporting us or stand for us. They will just want to use us for their own end. So the biggest thing that is happening in Somaliland is the plan for Israel in the long term for Somaliland. They have now come with a lot of resources, a lot of technical know-how, and they are going to build a military base in Somaliland. They will develop the economy of Somaliland. They will protect Somaliland. And now Israel is even planning to extend protection for Christian communities across the globe that have found themselves in persecution, especially in Nigeria. So let's watch this video that I've put. So now Muslim than this, today they worship the Israel flag. Ain't that? So the issue about Palestine then be pushed for back for Somaliland because Israel don't give the people over because Israel don't give them independence, grants them bilateral independence. Now they don't care about anything. Now Israel now be the way for them. Now Israel be the God for them. They don't care about any Islamic politics, whatever. They don't care. They don't want. They are now embracing Israel. They don't care. They will sing Allahu Akbar even with the Israel flag. So this is this is a big wake-up call and a lesson for Cameroon. Today they look at Anglophone being desperate. We have no friends. Nobody can recognize us. We have some misguided leaders who have tended to struggle into something else, and the prospect for independence is not there anymore. Bonga's V was once in similar situation where their forces that were fighting were decimated. They never thought that a new generation would rise up again and were more vicious than the previous generation, and they succeeded to get independent and concessions that the one that the government of New Papua New Guinea could not control. So now, I want us to make we watch interview with the Greta Versosten. Now, it's a big journalist. She used to work for Fox News. I follow this lady very well. She's like as powerful as Christina Mampo. She gave this this interview with Benjamin Netanyahu. I think it's thanks to Newsmax. Give them that credit for this video. And listen to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, one of the most powerful people in the world, talk about Somaliland. Now he's campaigning for Somaliland. It was not just a recognition. He is now in America campaigning for the United States to back Somaliland as part of a broader policy now to defend interests of Christians. Because for a long time, Islamic countries have been supporting Muslims that goes out there to kill Christians and wipe out Christians in many Muslim countries. I'm not just speaking it as even vague. I've met Somalia friends who will tell you, they are very proud to tell you that there is no Christian in their country. Either they have wiped them all and killed them all. I've met Syrian friends in real life, and they will tell you they are very proud. There are no Christians in their country. So they are very happy to wipe out more Christians. Christians are being persecuted all over the world. And we find even in Cameroon, Bororo groups usually will carry out collective attacks on villages when a single Bororo person is being killed. And most of these Muslim countries around the world are always being supported with arms. They are always their mosques are always being supported with money from Saudi Arabia. Even in Cameroon, the Saudi Arabian government, the United Arab Emirates, the Qatar, whether it is the Sunni or the Shia, all these their mosques will always send money to build mosques and to promote an ideology that is very exclusively Arabic in terms of of Muslim. This is true. I have no, my best friends are Muslim. I love Muslim people, but they are being poisoned by a religion ideology from the Middle East that seeks to project Muslims in a Muslim Brotherhood ideology that exclude them integrating in every African state. The Muslim countries that are dominated by this ideology, they don't even consider themselves as Africans. We know that Egypt is an African country only when it comes to football. The same with Morocco, Tunisia, and Libya. Most of those Arab countries, they don't even consider themselves as Africans. So let's listen to this speech from Benjamin Netanyahu. And this is a warning for Cameroon. I remember when I was engaged by the Israelites to help Ambazonia in many ways, even in negotiation. The former prime minister of Israel, we are having chat conversation, even on WhatsApp, Ehud Omed. He wanted to even speak about the Ambazonian cause in a positive way. And the reaction when we tested the ground from Ambazonian activists was very toxic, and they just back off. But this is a warning call for Cameroon. Today, you think that the Southern Cameroon Ambazonian movement have no external support. Don't wait until it is too late, where a foreign country, a foreign investor may just decide to buy the case of this independent movement, and it will be in a situation similar to what we see in Somaliland. Let's watch this interview.
Never had elections. Somaliland has 6 billion citizens, moderate Muslims. They want to join the Abraham Accords, and I think that's very good. They are Democrats. They've had elections. The rest of Somalia, which is Kochpodge, has had al-Shabaab terrorists there. Never had elections since for decades. Got a lot of terrorists coming there. So why not support democratic, moderate country, Muslim country that wants to join the Abraham Accords? I think everybody should do that.
But I guess
if we have to be first.
I guess we didn't see it coming, and you're the first nation, and I'm going, Somaliland?
Yeah, Somaliland, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have to go visit Somaliland. I take you can help me get a interview with the president.
So you can see it doesn't really matter. You have big journalists like Gradavan Sostren planning to go to Somaliland to interview the president of Somaliland. You find Israel now campaigning for the Americans to allow Somaliland to join the Abraham Accord, which is a very big coalition of countries that have relationship with Israel that goes further than just Israel. So the pathway for Somaliland to become a fully independent and recognized country is now very fast and vast, beyond their widest expectation. Why? Because Somalia refused to negotiate. Somalia could have easily come to these people in Somaliland and offer them autonomy for them to govern their country within one Somalia. But they refuse to do that because they think that one day they are going to put their act together, rebuild their military, and come and take back Somaliland by force. Now, there are plans based on communication that we see within chatters in Israel. There are plans for Israel to build a military base in the Gulf of Aden, which is around Somaliland, to be able to monitor the oceans and have access to sea and ocean land that belongs to Somaliland. In the name of Somaliland, Somaliland is going to be a satellite state. And the people of Somaliland, they will welcome it because they have nothing now. They will welcome Israel. Israel will build military base, train their army, train their police, organize their institution, their banking, engage them with foreign governments, and they will start to have multilateral relationships with countries just like Kosovo and many other countries that are not recognized by the United Nations. Even African Union does not recognize them. Do you think the people in Somaliland will care? So today, Cameroon sees the people of the English zone, our Anglophone people, as powerless people. There is no hope. They can suppress us. They can do whatever they want. It might be too late one day. One day. So maybe we'll continue to watch this video about the push of Israel to now actively support persecuted Christians across the world, in Nigeria, in the United States, and many other places. And who knows where it's going to end.
Against us and the battle against our Judeo-Christian tradition, basically being waged around the globe. And it's waged primarily by two forces, radical Shiite Islam and radical Sunni Islam. That means the axis that is led by Iran, much battered, admittedly, but still there, and the Sunni axis led by the Muslim Brotherhood, which permeates everything. They go to Europe, they go to the United States, they go to Africa, Nigeria. And we are conscious of the fact that Christians are being persecuted across the Middle East, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Nigeria, in Turkey, and beyond. And we're also aware of the fact, as you are, that one country protects the Christian community, enables it to grow, defends it, and makes sure that it thrives. And that country is Israel. There is no other. None. We are joining an effort to have basically a United Nations of countries that support Christian communities around the world, beleaguered communities who deserve our help. Just as you are helping us, we want to help back. And we're capable of doing that. In Africa with intel, in the Middle East with a lot of means that I won't itemize each one. But this is what our agenda is. It's the main part of our agenda. And it's going to continue with greater force and greater might in this coming year. I want to use this opportunity to wish you all, well, it's kind of late for a Merry Christmas, but a belated Happy Christmas, and not a belated, and on time.
So you can hear it is now an official policy of Israel to join a United Nations of countries that are willing to pursue a policy to support persecuted Christians across the globe. There are many stories of Christians being persecuted in China. The Chinese government have a problem with Christians in India, in Pakistan, in many places in the world. Christians have problems. And the problems is the evangelical spirit of Christianity. Christians usually likes to do evangelism, to share their faith, and even sometimes to convert people into Christians denomination, organizing huge rally, which many Muslims who don't question their faith find it very offensive. In many areas around the world, when Christians go around sharing the gospel with their Bible, or any church that are open in Pakistan, in India, in many Muslim dominated areas in Africa, when you start sharing the gospel or preaching there, they start to see that church as a threat, and they go after those churches to kill the pastors, to burn down churches, to destroy, desecrate the Bible, burn down the cross, use cross as a shooting sign in the shooting range. We have seen that all across Africa. All Africa Christians have experienced that. You have a situation now in Darfur where the Sudanese army, their main army, and the rebels, the only thing that they are united against in Sudan is the black Africans who are mainly Christians. The same issue happened with South Sudan. There was almost a genocide in South Sudan. If not that some military battalion joined to fight them. But there is nobody that protects Christians across the world and persecuted Christians across the world. So this is a very appealing policy of Israel and the United States of Donald Trump that is heavily backed by conservatives. I've been in many conservative platforms and have discussions about this topic. And there is always the lack of the Western world, who usually pride themselves with Judeo-Christian value, to support Christian community that have been persecuted. And this is a big validation and a big opening for the people who campaign for Biafra. The whole Biafra campaign have always been about concern that comes from mainly Fulani tribes who are within the Muslim Brotherhood, that are well armed, that are well funded, that seeks to dominate and eradicate Christianity in Muslim states such as Kano in Nigeria. I've been to Kano and I can tell you for sure, they don't want Christians to talk to Muslim people. They don't want Christians to even have friendship or get married, intermarried with Muslims. They find it a taboo, and they will kill Christians or even wipe out Christians' family for doing that. I had a friend I met from Kashmir, and his name is Mahmoud. He's now in Canada, and he used to tell me stories like that from their country. They have small communities of Christians in Afghanistan, and if one of them dates a Muslim family, they risk wiping out the whole of that family out of existence, and nobody's gonna say anything. So now this is what is happening. The world order is shaping, and now we are finding the goods. The world is now being divided into the goods and evil. Christians that have Judeo-Christian values are now being aligning themselves together. This is hugely gonna be successful and gonna be popular. Many churches also will want to have fundings, want to have links, and eventually you'll find that the Israel will be everywhere, even giving weapons to Christian communities that are being targeted by armed Islamic forces that are connected to this global Islamic jihadism, the Brotherhood of Muslims that seeks to eradicate Christianity and unbelievers. These are not group of people who also agree with other Muslim community. Most African Hausa people, my village in Anglophone zone there in Boyo, we have a lot of Muslim people who are Mbororo, local Mbororo people who have been living with our people for ages. We are there are now some intermarriages, but you always have these external forces that comes all the way from Nigeria that always intervene. Because they have weapons, they are more stronger than even some governments in Africa. So this is going to be hugely welcomed by many Christian community or Christian back community, and it's going to be a powerful political wave in Africa. These are all things that the Nigerian government never saw coming, the Cameroon government never saw coming, and it has a lot of implication when it comes to the right of self-determination for the English-speaking people who are majority Christian and the Igbo people who are majority Christian communities in Nigeria who are fighting for self-determination. So, brothers have to sit down and resolve their problems. Otherwise, an outsider will come unexpectedly and the equation will change like what we see in Somaliland. It is a wake-up call. It is a warning sign for the government of Nigeria and Cameroon and many other governments where Christians' persecution have been underlooked, have been underreported, have been rejected as a myth, but the reality is coming back home. God bless you all.